What up, guys? So as you can tell, I'm continuing my series of the Pirates of the Caribbean movies leading up to Pirates of the Caribbean Dead Men Tell No Tales at the end of May. I've already reviewed Pirates of the Caribbean Curse of the Black Pearl and Pirates of the Caribbean Dead Men's Chest, both of which you can check out on my channel right now. So Pirates of the Caribbean at World's End is a very interesting movie. In my last review, I talked about how Dead Men's Chest has some mixed reviews. Some people loved it, some people didn't. And quite frankly, I don't understand why people don't like that movie. This movie, however, though I'm a fan of it, I don't criticize people for not liking it because I understand why that might be the case. So Pirates of the Caribbean at World's End picks up right at the end of Dead Man's Chest. You know, after at the end of the last one, which, spoiler alert, Jack Sparrow gets eaten by the Kraken and goes down with the Black Pearl. So Will and Elizabeth and the rest of the crew and Tia Dalma and Barbossa, who Tia Dalma brought back from the dead, are all headed to the World's End to find Jack, but at the same time, he's one of the pirate lords, so they need him back so the 9 pirate lords can get together because Beckett has taken control of the sea because he has the compass of Jack's, and then he's controlling Davy Jones because he also has the heart, which Norrington got for him at the end of the second one as well. And for the next 3 hours, you get to see people do crazy thing and change sides about 3 times over. So as I said, I understand why people don't like this movie. It is very long, incredibly convoluted, and pretty absurd. The plot, I mean, you heard me try to describe the plot. It's ridiculous and absurd and over the top. However, for me, I still like this movie a lot. Not as much as the first two, mind you, because I think it definitely has more problems than the other two, but there is still a lot to like about this movie. Starting off with, like the first two, it has this charisma to it. As crazy and insane and as convoluted as it is, it's still super entertaining to watch. And I mean, you can argue that there is a story. I mean, like I said, it's absurd. But if you just kind of go along with it and laugh and enjoy the ride, I think it's kind of fun. I mean, personally, I think Johnny Depp as Jack Sparrow is still just as funny as he is in the first two. Will and Elizabeth, you see the continuation of their story. I know some people don't really like it because after Will finds out that Elizabeth was the one who chained Jack Sparrow to the ship at the end of the second, he gets all mad at her, and there's tension between them, and all that happens, but whatever. And Jeffrey Rush is back as Barbossa. This time, he's a good guy. It's funny, because in the first Pirates movie, you know, there were the pirates, who were the bad guys, obviously, versus the good guys. In this, it's pirates versus corrupt governmental navy people. So yeah, Barbossa's technically on the good side, and they're trying to save piratedom, I guess? I'm not really sure exactly what they're trying to do. I mean, I know they're trying to keep Beckett from controlling the seas, and that will, like, you know, not be good for them or whatever, but I just go along with it. So the first bit of the movie is them actually getting Jack back from the World's End. And the way they do that is pretty cool. The sequence when they, like, flip over the boat and they go up because when the sun sets, it's like when they can get out of the World's End or whatever. That was a really cool scene. So after 2 hours and about 3 to 4 side changes per person later, all the pirate lords convene at the Shipwreck Cove or whatever, and Beckett is still, you know, with Davy Jones, and he's trying to kill all the pirates, and Sao Feng, who's this pirate in Singapore, he gets killed, and because he thinks that Elizabeth is Calypso, who he has captive on his ship, makes her the pirate lord in his stead because he's dead. So like I said, the first hour and a half to 2 hours of this movie, I can see why it'd be really hit or miss for some people. I personally have a good time with it, but like I said, I understand why it might turn some people off. That being said, it's unfortunate why some people might not get to that point because the last hour of this movie is one of the best sea battles I have seen in any movie ever. I am dead serious. When you have those 2 ships that are going around in the whirlpool created by Calypso and they're fighting, it's so epic and awesome. And on top of that, it looks amazing. And I'll touch on that right now. This movie, just like the first two, visually is absolutely spectacular. I think this is still one of the most expensive movies ever made, partially because of this scene in general, because it's just so crazy and so real. And you know, like I said, Davy Jones's crew, they still look amazing. The ships and the sets and the CGI, it's still incredible. So then at the end of the movie, after a lot of stuff goes down, basically, you know, Jack has control of Davy Jones's heart, but Davy Jones, spoiler alert, stabs and kills Will. So what does Jack do? He has Will stab the heart, so he becomes captain of the Dutchman in Davy Jones's place. This also had a lot of mixed reviews. I didn't really care. I thought it was kind of an interesting twist that they did that, but some people didn't like it at all. And then after that, so the Flying Dutchman is on the side of the Black Pearl, and they destroy Beckett's ship, and Beckett dies, and all the other fleets, they go away, and Piratedom is saved, and everything's good. And then at the end of the movie, since, you know, the Captain of the Dutchman can only be on shore for 1 day in 10 years, he and Elizabeth spend a day together because they're married. Oh yeah, I forgot they got married by Barbossa on the ship, which is pretty ridiculous, but you know, whatever, it's kind of cool. So they have their day, and he goes off into the sunset, and Elizabeth is on this island living there waiting for Will to come back. And then Jack and Gibbs and some other crew members, they go back to, it might be Port Royal? I don't know, they go back to some port somewhere. And we go back to the beginning, essentially, because Barbossa decides to steal the pearl again, and the rest of the crew pretty much goes with him. And he steals, like, that little map that they got from Sao Fang at the beginning of the movie, which leads them to the Fountain of Youth. However, Jack was a step ahead of them. He cut out the map from the inside, and he's going on the one boat by himself with Gibbs, I think, to go find the Fountain of Youth. So yeah, like I said, I understand why people don't like this movie. It's too over the top, some people think it's chaotic, it's convoluted, and honestly, I'm not going to argue with any of those things because all of them are true. But like I said, I just have such a fun time watching it. The characters are enjoyable. The action is still exciting. The score, I gotta talk about the score for a second. I know I've talked a bit how much I love the score from the first two. That score is still in this one. However, Hans Zimmer added a new score, which just has, I don't even know how to describe it. It almost feels kind of World's Endy. Can I call it that? I don't know. That's just what it makes me think of. Maybe it's because the movie's called it World's End. But honestly, this is one of my favorite soundtracks of all time. It's so beautiful, so epic, so adventurous. That combined with the original score by Klaus, what's his name, and Hans Zimmer, it makes for a spectacularly epic score. So like I said, combine that with all the other positive elements of the film, aside from the convolutedness of the plot, it's still really good. I will say this, there's one part that I do not like, and that is when they release Tia Dalma, who is actually Calypso, and they release her, and she, like, gets giant, and she disintegrates into crabs. I'm okay with a lot of crazy stuff happening in this trilogy, but that moment just felt really out of place and weird, and I don't know what Gore Verbinski was thinking when he did that scene. But anyway, that's a 2-minute scene in an almost 3-hour movie. In the end, guys, this movie is crazy and ridiculous and convoluted, but at the end of the day, I still have a blast watching it, and I'm going to give it a B+. Guys, thank you for watching this video as usual. Please check out my Pirates of the Caribbean Curse of the Black Pearl and Dead Man's Chest review. And next week you can look forward to my final review of Pirates of the Caribbean on Stranger Tides. And then after that will come Pirates of the Caribbean Dead Men Tell No Tales. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next time. Guys, if you enjoyed this video, please click on any of my other videos on my channel right now. But you know what you should do? You should click here to subscribe to my channel so you get updates for when I actually put out the new videos. And if you want to comment below and let me know what you think, please do. I always love hearing from you guys and knowing what your thoughts are on the matter.